I was just thinking, and like, I I've been really pondering on sharing this concept of how black power is actually um is actually hurting the community more than helping. Empowering being black is hurting the community more than helping. Why do I say that? I say that because as long as you affiliate and identify with a classification that is limited, then you are going to limit yourself. And you always gonna be put in these situations to where you gotta defend being black, which essentially is a waste of energy. You know what I'm saying? If you really think about it, being black is not a real thing. I'm not black. I'm actually red. I'm a copper-colored Native American. Seriously. And when you identify with black, you basically, identify with all the limitations and all the stuff that come with being black. If you get too into being black, the first time or soon as a white person call you the N-word, now you all out of character, or you doing these things, or you even feel something to defend. And when we talk about what it means to be black and black power, it's just all you're limiting yourself, and you are committing to being in a system with no economic power. Black people ain't never gonna have nothing in this system. The concept of calling yourself a black person was literally created. You're not black. It's a made up thing. So trying to empower the idea of being black is basically empowering an identity that has limitations and no economic power, and the system that it's in is never going to make room for a black person. And also, and the people that conquer, or the people that create financial freedom and stuff like that, they're not super their entire identity is not around being black. You know what I'm saying? Even if they support black people and they still encourage black people and they give back to the black community, everything does not revolve around being black. You know what I'm saying? You want to be black, you want to be so like this, so you wearing your hair a certain way, or you rebelling against the system because you got so much pride in your identity, and you want to do all these things to kind of express yourself, because you think because you black, you gotta do this. You gotta force yourself in the room, because it ain't no room for you, or ain't no place for you. But in reality, you actually don't have to. And you can become whatever version of yourself that you want to be. You don't gotta be the black version. You could just be, you don't gotta do what they say black people do, have what they say black people have. Bro, if you don't want to even identify with that shit, you don't have to. It don't matter what your skin look like. If you don't want to identify with that shit, you genuinely don't have to. And the sooner we start creating our own identity and choosing who we want to be, the sooner we will gain, the sooner we can grow and evolve. It's nothing wrong with identifying with it, but at the same time, I'm just at a point where I could see how detrimental it is and has been to the society. Like, all this, like, black shit and focusing on just being black, bruh, it's not, like, I just don't see how it's helping. Because black people got to fight for everything. We got to fight for rights. We got to fight to be considered human. We got to fight for whatever the fuck we want. If you black, you considered a minority. Even though in reality, it's more colored people or melanated beings on this planet than anybody else. But for whatever reason, black people are the minority. When you black, you don't know your history. Outside of the history that they tell you, the history that they gave you, like, and then they trick you into thinking empowering being black is gonna save you, like, it's gonna help you for real. And it's really not, though. It don't matter how much you wanna act like you empowering it. If you don't have no economic power, you can say being black is whatever you want, but if you ain't got no money, then the black community gonna always be fucked up. And it made me think about like when Raven Simone was saying she not black and how the black community was on her ass, you know. But it's just like, bruh, if you really think about it, you not black. Ain't none of us black. We should get rid of that whole concept and create something of our own. Like, figure out what we really are or what the real true history is. Like, hey, all I'm saying is, I don't know, maybe black power is not real. Like, maybe it's not a real thing for real. Maybe it's a trick, a joke, a game that keep you in a loop. And so long as you sit there and fight for the right to be black, you always just gonna be lost. You know? Fuck the 4th of July. Fuck Juneteenth too. Fuck Dr. Martin Luther King Day. Fuck all that shit. Fuck all of that shit. This is all like, fuck slavery. Who's to say it even went down the way that they say it went down? Seriously. These people, like, we've been lied to about everything else. How do you even know that's how it went down? You don't. And the fact that the idea is sold to you so much, it gives me the impression that maybe it's a trick. You know? Something just ain't right. Something just don't feel right. Something just don't smell right. You know, when it comes down to that. I don't know. I think instead of like focusing on black power or black excellence or whatever, let's just focus on power. Let's just focus on excellence. Let's just focus on financial freedom. It don't have to be like, we gotta liberate the black community, because it's like you playing a losing game, and also the way that it affects your mentality and subconsciously, see, you don't even understand what you are vulnerable to when you identify with being black so much, because it's a whole system that is created to feed blacks a certain story or a certain idea or a certain reality. So when you affiliate with blackness so much, you are bound to be a victim to that lifestyle, that way of thinking, that way of being, that level of awareness. But once you just choose to exist the way that you want to exist, be whoever you want to be. The only reason we care about skin color and race and all that stuff like that is because they've been using it against us. The only way to win the game is to not play. Seriously. So if all the black people stop identifying as being black, then what? Then the shit just it just collapses. Because it's not a real thing. It's just a concept. And it's not you rejecting your melanin or your history or what makes you carbonated or what makes you special. It's not rejecting that or denying that. It's redefining it and not limiting it to just something, just a color or a economic position of poverty, basically. Like, when you say you black, you're choosing to be poor. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, bruh. Ain't nobody black. If you black, no, bruh. And all these, if you also think about it, all the organizations that historically were supposed to empower black people, they were all funded by the government or the CIA to some degree, and still is to this day. All the black entertainment is trash. The black music is trash. Like, it's all trash. You know what I'm saying? So, what does that tell you? Think about it. What does that tell you? I don't know, man. I love myself and I love my people. I love my tribe. You know? And I don't love nobody more than I love myself. And I'm not letting anybody define who I am, what my history is. You can't tell me what my history is. You can't tell me what I am. You can't tell me I'm just a color. And these are the limitations of my existence because of how I've been classified. You can't classify me. And on paper, when you start playing that game, you get different results. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It's just something to think about.